Good day, dear friends. Welcome, a hearty hello, Ohio Silver. Now, welcome to you on this Tuesday Eve. Before we begin, let me remind you, please like the video, please subscribe. Make sure you are still subscribed. Your liking the video is our ignition switch to the HOV lane for more coverage, more people, and more people gathering on and signing on to the holy word of truth. My friends, we have so much to discuss. Tonight, we're going to be discussing how Candace Owens in her indefatigable pursuit of the truth, and also a little bit about crazy and lying, the mendacity. I did it one today, but I want to fill you in a little bit on how people can distort the truth, how the truth is it's something that is very, very difficult for some people to master and grasp. We'll be talking about that. Take your great thoughts and your incredible comments. But first, my friends, remember, in the event of utter and complete disaster, I know this got a stupid name, bug out bag. Sounds almost quaint or fun. There's nothing quaint or fun about it. In the event of the shit hitting the fan, are you able to leave immediately with some kind of a bag, a satchel, a backpack, something with all of the essentials that you will need for an extended period of time away from your home? Trust me when I tell you, you're not ready for this until now. Listen up. When disaster hits, you don't rise to the occasion. You fall back on what you already prepared. Wildfires, floods, hurricanes, tornadoes, blackouts, EMP and grid attacks, riots, disaster. Get it? And when the warning comes, there's no time to search for flashlights or bottled water or first aid supplies while your family waits at the door. That's why My Patriot Supply created the fully stocked bug out bag. You've got to get this. It's a rugged, grab and go tactical backpack packed with 60 emergency essentials, including food, water, shelter, fire, starting tools, lighting, first aid, and more. Everything is already packed and ready right out of the box. Keep one in your car, your home, your RV, your office, your cabin, because emergencies never make appointments. And right now, you can get $100 off plus free shipping for a limited time. So act now. There will be no special invitation in life. Disaster always comes unannounced. Get prepared now. Go to preparewithlionel.com. That's preparewithlionel.com and click the link today. My friend, where do I even begin to start this? Where perchance do I even begin to pick up where I think we need to be? It's a very difficult subject, and one that I get this all the time, and I love it. I get this incredible sense of people saying, "Are you talking about her again?" I said, "What do you mean? Are you talking about Candace Owens again?" They say, "Well, yeah. Aren't you?" "No." I said, "Well, do you not understand what's going on here? Do you not grasp the importance, the criticality of what's happening? Do you not understand this? Do you have a hard time understanding why this is important? This is not something that we normally allow people to, I don't know what the word is. We don't necessarily allow people to kind of grasp what is happening here. But I've got to tell you something which is very, very critical. Very, 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 very critical. This is one of the most important times for us as a people to grasp what is happening here. Let me see. I want to check one little thing. One little thing here in my, dare I say, my presentation. Let me see. Because I think in my haste, I did not do something which I find problematic. Let me see something. I think I did something which may be not a good thing. Let me see. That's not it. Well, that's not it. Hang on a minute. I think I know what I have to do, and I did not do it. Through my haste, ladies and germs, through my haste, I did not do something which I should have done. Let me see if I can. How do I fix this? Excuse me. Oh, here we go. Ah, yes, yes, yes. Ladies and gentlemen, let me fix this. There we go. There we go. Isn't that wonderful? There we go. Yes, 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 yes. And one more little adjustment, one more little thing for me to fix. Oh, yes. Yes, we've done that. And one more, my friends, just one more. One more. That's the ticket. There we go. Okie dokie. All righty. My apologies. I think things are better right now. You've got a good stream health. Like they have this thing that says stream health. Do you have a good stream health? Yes, I do. There we are, dear friends. There we are. My apologies. My apologia. I am contrite. I am expiating. I am so sorry for that. Now, let me go back to this. I think I said this to you before, and I'll say it again. There are people who are, for some reason or another, they're having difficult times understanding why I find this to be so fascinating. I don't know why, but I do. And they have a hard time grasping what it is about the subject matter. I'm saying it's got everything you can possibly imagine. Everything on levels we can't even, on levels we can't even understand, we can't even grasp. And yet people will say, are you still talking about that? And I said, are you still talking about Israel again? They said, what do you mean? Are you still talking about Israel? And they said, well, yeah. I said, well, it's the same thing. There's a lot of moving parts, as you know, to the subject of Israel. And for somebody to keep saying that, are you still talking about that? Is just absurd. It's beyond absurd, ladies and germs. But that's another story. So what I would like to do is to discuss this with you and to bring up a couple of things and a couple of critical points of why I think it is so important what Candace is doing, how she is absolutely, positively, without a doubt, my hero. Do you understand this? Do you understand this? Everybody here? I like this. People are, you're very kind. You're very kind. And I can see by the contretemps that you are feeling right now, you don't know what to do. You thought, my God, was I left out? What's going on here? I want to do something real quick right now. And I might lose you for just 1 second, but I have to make one little adjustment. Okay, one little adjustment here. Don't worry. That's it. That's the ticket. Very good. Very good. Very good. Now, as you know, a lot of times people will some people just hate Candace Owens. I don't know why. Or they hate me, or they hate you, or they always hate somebody. There's a lot of people who are just, they're just kind of sort of miserable for reasons I don't understand. But what they are seeing right now and what they don't understand is that Candace is, and by the way, don't forget, Thursday night, not Friday, Thursday night, 7:30 p.m. Eastern, live right here, live. Our good friend from Adelaide, South, from Australia. Remember the name? I keep telling you. The name Bob Francis. Great radio personality. He was the father of a dear friend of mine, Mark Francis. In any event, from Adelaide, by the way. In order for you to determine or to peruse or to follow through with any kind of investigation, you're going to have to understand and grasp that when there is something that is wrong, they will leave all kinds of clues. Now, I am telling you right now a couple of things. I am not going to tell you that I think something was the road mic, because I don't know. That is a hypothesis, not a theory, a hypothesis. And it's one that I think is worth pursuing. And I think you as well. Absolutely. Because There's something to be said for that. There's something critical about the subject. I need to look at that, but I don't know quite yet. I'm not sure. I can't say yes, I can't say no, but I will tell you right now, unequivocally, listen to me as a former prosecutor, as a trial lawyer, licensed and ready to go. This I know. Always ask this question. If a jury were to go back right now into the jury room and you were to ask them to, assuming everything that you've got as is introduced, ask them the question, how could you find Tyler Robinson guilty based on what? There's no connection to the gun, and you're going to find that there's been no confession. There's been no confession. Now, Lance Twiggs, listen carefully. He was not excluded from the trial. He was merely not required for the preliminary hearing. You don't need him. The preliminary hearing is nothing. You can take hearsay. You can use. You want to hear a little bit of law? Let me explain this to you. I don't want to get too wonky here, but it's important that you understand this. And I think you can, because I think you're smart. Normally, in most cases, speeding tickets, misdemeanor referrals, you're caught shoplifting, the cop sees you or gets the information, somebody files either an information or an indictment, normally not for a misdemeanor, but you don't, the probable cause is done on the scene. Did you see it? Okay, write him up. DUI, pull him over. I see you. Probable cause. I pulled you over. Probable cause. I arrested him. Probable cause. No problem. It's no problem. There's no issue of probable cause. None. It's just it doesn't come up. Except in the federal system. Forget that for a moment. Just forget that, because this is state. We'll talk about the feds later. But when you charge somebody with murder, the best way to do it is to go before a grand jury. The grand jury, is normally 18, 30, 25, whatever the particular statute is, versus the petty jury, which is the normal trial jury. The one that you're 6 sometimes, usually 12. That's the jury that people talk about. That's the jury in the courtroom. They're the trier of fact, okay? But normally, for a first-degree murder, first-degree life felony, you go before a grand jury. The grand jury hears the information, and you ask the jury, do you believe there is probable cause to charge Tyler Robinson? And the jury will say, yeah, sure. You can use some hearsay. The lawyer doesn't come in to represent the defendant. Very one-sided, very easy. It's to be this little hurdle. It's almost like paying lip service. They're going to say, okay, look, before you even have to answer this, before we even proceed because of the severity of this, let's have a probable cause determination to see whether the defendant should be, as they say sometimes, bound over. Let's say some stuff great, bound over. Okay? That's all it is. That's all it is. Most of the time, it's not a problem. But for first-degree murder, you need this. Usually, you go to a grand jury. The grand jury issues the true bill. That's what they call when they issue a true bill, meaning they've issued an indictment. No true bill means no indictment. That's simple. Period. End of discussion. Now, what's important to note in all of this stuff, what's important to note is that when you have a grand jury, the probable cause part is already determined. Here, we don't have a grand jury. They haven't even determined whether they have enough evidence to bind over, to force, in essence, Tyler Robinson to even defend himself. Is there enough evidence? Do we have witnesses? Yes. Is there anybody to put him at the scene? Yes. Did this happen in Utah? Yes. Do you have somebody who at least said maybe that? Yes. Okay, that's good. As opposed to this case. Do we have anybody here to point the finger at Tyler Robinson? Who? Tyler Robinson. Who the hell's Tyler Robinson? The guy we arrested. We never heard of Tyler Robinson. I had a client one time where they charged, it's a long story, but they charged the witness. The witness. My client was charged. He's the defendant. When we had a deposition, my friend, the detective, came and said, "Hey, how are you doing?" "Great." He says, whom do you represent?" I said, "This guy." "No, was he charged with something?" "Yes, he's charged with this burglary." "He didn't do it. He was the witness." I know it sounds crazy, but it happened. So it could theoretically, so you work out little problems like this. Is this the guy? Yeah. Did he do it? Yeah. It's simple. It's simple. We had a preliminary hearing one time. I'll never forget this. This guy came up. I'm not even going to mention his name, but it was funny. But he happened to have a name that matched a certain what do you want to call it? A serial killer in real life, but it was a serial. Anyway, this guy was about to be let go. He was on the side of the courtroom, and he had the jail clothes didn't fit. He was kind of a diminutive person, but anyway, he was just there to be let go. Sounds stupid, but you have to have the judge officially dismiss the case. That was it. He was going to be let go. So they bring him out. He's at the end of the wall. There's a preliminary hearing in the front. So help me God, I should go blind if I'm lying to you. This is exactly what happened. As I'm watching, what's even my case? I'm watching this. It was some kind of a theft charge. The woman is standing here, the victim. Next to her is a guy wearing the jail outfit in handcuffs. It says HCSO jail, Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office jail. He's got the jail right next to her. So the judge, great guy, by the way, hanging Harry Coe, tragic case, which I'll tell you about one day. He said, "Ma'am, just got to. You see the person who stole your whatever it was? And so help me God." She turns to the right, doesn't even notice this guy standing there with the chains and the prison outfit. And she looks to her left, and there's all these inmates, all of these lined up against the wall, chained. And the very guy at the end, this guy who just was about to be let go, so help me God. She says, "That's him." Now, little background story. He thought he was being railroaded. He hated everything. And all of a sudden he stands up and says, "What? That's bullshit." This is in court. The judge says, "Sit down. I understand." And he said, "Understand my ass. You don't understand the fucking thing I've been through. God damn it, I've been through it." The judge says, "Sit down. I'm telling you, I understand. Talk to him." So the judge instructs these defendants, most happen to be black, but they go, "Hey, man." He goes, "Gotcha, God damn it." And he might have said a racial, "Ooh." Now the jury's, the place is packed. People are about to have their cases called. I mean, it was. And he's got to say, "I'm going to tell you one time, and that's it. If you don't sit down and shut up, I understand. I'm going to hold you in contempt." Now, he's got to send a message to everybody out to let them know, don't you try this. Not with me, not here. Somebody said, "Oh, no." He goes, 6 months. Make it another 6 months. Fuck you. I'm not goddamn. He goes, take him away. And he's screaming and yelling, 18 months. I got your 18 months. So anyway, and we knew it was a mistake. So they take him away, and everybody's saying, oh, this judge means business, which is the number one consideration of any trial judge, is to maintain order. Okay. It was the end of the day, end of the week, whatever. The judge says, all right, buddy, thank you very much. He goes, oh, Judge, what about Mr. So-and-so? He said, oh, bring him back. And he comes on, he's very kind of contrite. Oh, God. He said, now, Mr. So-and-so, you do know that I understood this lady made a mistake. I know, Judge, but I'm so goddamn. He goes, what? I'm sorry. All right. Now, you can't do this. I know. So anyway, he canceled it and let him go. But it was one of those, but that was a preliminary hearing. It was a lower level, but that was basically it. Is that the guy? Did you see him? That's it. Hearsay, schmearsay. Let's get on. And by the way, that preliminary hearing failed. The guy with the chains, he lucked out because they didn't even pick him out. All right. So everybody's making a big deal about, oh, Tyler Robinson, he can't, they're not even going to let him, it's a railroad. No. Now, if we're lawyers, if you and I are the lawyers for Tyler, we love this. One of the reasons why you want to go to the grand jury and not have a preliminary hearing is you don't want to put on your testimony and let people see your witnesses. Let them testify so they can say something stupid and you can have that transcript recorded, and anything that deviates from that testimony under oath, you can impeach them later on. It's great. You can just have the time of your life with this. It is wonderful. You want to do this. You want to do this. But it doesn't mean necessarily anything. It doesn't mean that the fix is in. It could be, but not just because of it. This is nothing big. All they have to do, this is not their trial. This is just to determine whether there's probable cause. And that's it. Okay. That's the end of that. Okay. Now. And so meanwhile, Tyler is sitting there saying, what am I doing here? What am I doing here? Schmuck, you turned yourself in. Yeah, well, what do you want? See, I don't understand because I haven't talked to him. What were you thinking? He could be the best guy in the world. He could be one of these people where you say, oh my God, he's such a great witness. We got to put him on the stand. Yeah, he's great. He's terrific. Or he's terrible. Either way, this is where we stand. So now I want to tell Candace this Thursday night, 7:30, don't forget. Don't even worry about the road mic. Don't even worry. That is for a different case. That may not even come up in this trial. Do you understand what I'm saying? Do you understand that? You understand what I'm saying? You understand what I'm saying? You understand what I'm saying? If we find out, I may say, Candace, you worry about that. I'm not even going to bring up this road mic. Because right now, they've got nothing. And it's not our duty to say, well, I think what killed him was. Now, that might be important later on. That might be something which is better for an independent investigation, maybe an independent look at this. But we're not going to put this on. We're not going to say, oh, by the way, detective, did you look into that microphone? What? The microphone. What? I don't want to say anything about anything. All I want to do is say, do you have the murder weapon? No. Thank you. What about the road? Shut up with the microphone. Thank you. No further questions, Your Honor. Get him off. That's it. That's all I want to hear from them. Do you have the murder weapon? Nope. Why? Because ATF said they can't make a connection. This may be interesting later on, but I'm not going to bring that up. I want these guys off and on. I can't wait to go to make a motion for a judgment of acquittal. That's it. Or go right. Or you know what? I may not even put on any kind of evidence at all. I'm gonna say let's just go straight to the jury. That's really what I want to do. I want to go there and say, well, folks, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, we're at the end. Now imagine this. This is at the end. Ladies and gentlemen, we're at the end, and I want to thank you very much. Mr. Robinson and I and our team want to thank you for your attentive behavior. We have been watching you throughout this ordeal, and believe me, we know how tough this has been. You have taken time out, and you always thank them. Thank you for what you did. Time off from your job, time off from your family, time off. We could not have a justice system without you. And this is one thing that AI is not going to be able to replace. We want human beings with your perspective and your history and your ability to read faces and stories. Okay. You got that? Good. Start off with that. Ladies and gentlemen, if you went into that jury room, I keep saying this, and you were to be asked to prove, which is what you are, to prove or to rule that the state has proved beyond a reasonable doubt. I mean, that's beyond doubt, that Tyler Robinson killed. Do you have that information? Let me see if I can explain this again. And this is why this is so easy. When I see the Tyler Robinson case as a lawyer, I'm the defense lawyer. You create the terms and conditions of the trial, not I. I walk in there and I say, well, what are you alleging? I'm not alleging anything. I don't have to allege anything. I might have my own theory. Very rarely. You know why? Because the theory that I advance may fall apart. And I may confuse the jury. Why do I want to bring up additional information, additional facts that they're not even considering? A mic? Yeah. And where was the t-shirt what t-shirt? The t-shirt that Charlie was wearing. You mean with a bullet hole? No, there wasn't a bullet. It was a microphone. A what? It was a mic he was wearing. What mic? See where I'm going with this? See, we believe that it was a mic, a Rode mic, and one of these portable lavalier mic. What if the judge says, you're not going to advance this? Do you have any proof of this? No. Well, you're not going to prove it. I'm not going to let you do that. You might cross-examine. You might say, by the way, detective, yeah, did you ever investigate the possibility of an exploding mic? No, I didn't. Okay, thank you. I can't introduce this because we don't know for sure. It's great as maybe causing a little reasonable doubt. But what I'm going to tell you right now is we're going to go in and say, ladies and gentlemen, my friend, you don't have a weapon. You don't have a weapon. You don't have a weapon. You do. You understand what I'm saying? Ladies and gentlemen, there is no murder weapon. Ladies and gentlemen, there is no murder weapon. Now this gets tricky because has the judge ruled that I can't bring this up? Am I opening the door? And even if I do open the door, I say, great, you've got to link this. If I find a gun, let's say, if there's a Mauser, a machine gun, an M4, an H&K M4, an AR-15, an AR, whatever. I just can't say, hey, there's a weapon we found there. Look, there's a weapon. And you know, what that weapon normally shoots would be pretty good. Let me also stop. We don't know what the medical examiner is going to say. We don't know. They talk about fragments. What do you mean? You tell me. Bullet casings, fragments. What? What is in? Show me. When you dissected the neck, what did you find? When you ran an x-ray, and all of a sudden you can see, my God, there's shrapnel. And because, by the way, if you want to see, this is terrible. But when you do x-rays of dead bodies, you don't have to worry about, obviously, extra radiation. You just crank that baby up. I mean, it glows. If there is anything, it just glows. You can spot it. So any kind of fragment, any kind of metallic, anything, it would show up. We don't know that yet. When they dissected the neck, did they find it? Did they find plastic? Do you have it in a bag? Can we look at it? Can we look at it? If we have one of our people who says, hey, guess what? This is plastic. And if I have my word to say, by the way, not for nothing, but we bought one of these these mics here. Is this plastic consistent with this plastic? It sure is. Okay. Now remember, it's not our duty to bring up the mic. My question is, do you have anything that is fired or was fired from that rifle or any rifle that you can identify with? If you're walking down the street and all of a sudden you hear this and you hear a gunshot and somebody's hit and they arrest you and they say, you're under arrest. What? For killing him? Wait a minute. I didn't shoot him. We don't need a gun. Why? We didn't have one in the Tyler Robinson case. We found a gun. Could have been a bazooka. A bazooka. A howitzer. A recoilless rifle. A BAR. It doesn't matter. There is nothing for them to connect Tyler to. Period. Do you understand? Tell me you understand so I can move on. Because this is critical. I don't need to hear anything about the mic. I don't have to even worry about that. If they say, well, they're not guilty right now. I don't give a damn what he said. I did it. Did what? Let me ask you something. If totally future memory loss, God bless you, you walked into the police station that night. He said, hello? Yes. Officer, I'm totally future memory loss, and I'm here to tell you I am responsible for the assassination of Charlie Kirk. Here, you can arrest me now. So, whoa. How did you do it? Something, a gun or something. Anyway, take me in. Wait a minute. Are you sure? I'm telling you I did it 100%. Let me sign the paper. I'm not on Discord. I'm not telling my gay roommate. I'm telling you right now, where's the paper? Let me sign it. I did it. That's it. 100%. I did it. Do you understand this? Yes. Okay. I did it. I did this. They'll say, I'm sorry, but you just can't come in here and say, I did it. Well, I was there. In fact, I was not too far from where Charlie was. So what? There were 1,000 people there. Still, I'm telling you I did it. So why is Charlie in jail and I'm not? I confess he really didn't. There wasn't a gun for him. There wasn't a gun for me. But I'm saying I did it. Why don't they arrest me? Why? Because I'm not the patsy. They want him. That's their storyline. So there's no connection to anything. You've got this rifle. Hey, Doc. Yeah. Imagine just the depositions. Doc, what kind of a caliber slug did you find? Well, we didn't really find a slug. What? Well, we found some. Doc, have you ever seen a gunshot wound? Of course I have. Have you ever seen a 30-06 or a 222 or 125? Yeah, okay, fine. A NATO round? Yes, I did. You know it doesn't leave. I know. But what do you think? What do I think? I don't know what I think. No, come on, Doc. What do you think? What's your opinion? I don't know. Was he hit by a rifle round? Was he hit by a bullet? Yes or no? Where's the bullet? Why do you think this is a bullet? People in Vietnam, you know how many people died of shrapnel? They never got a bullet, but they killed them. Shrapnel is deadly. It's hot. Okay. This is a different kind of shrapnel, but still, there's no rifle. This is a not guilty. That's it. You've got this guy who's going to say, okay, I find you guilty because you were. Now we've got the confession. If we even get to the confession, what did he confess? If the parents say, he didn't confess to me. Officer, did you Mirandize him? Yes. Did he confess? No. And at the same time, after he was Mirandized, after he was already in the, I think Barron brought this up, the Discord files or the mentions of the confession on the Discord, account or whatever, what postings. This was after he was already in custody. He didn't have access to a Discord account because all of this was lined up. He was supposed to be dead or taken out of commission because all of this stuff was in line. And for whatever reason, it screwed up. It screwed up big time. This is beyond anything. I can't say enough how much of a screw up this is. I can't put into words and explain how much of a screw up this is. I can't even explain to you how much of it's the end of everything, and it's the greatest kind of since OJ. It's procedural, it's legal, it's trial work, it's everything. I'm telling you, it is phenomenal. And what's interesting more than that is that after this case is done, Candace is going to make it a point to create, and I would suggest to her own mini trial. Let her put on her case, finalize it, record it, tie it in a bow, and hand it to Kash Patel and everybody else and say, this is the case. What are you going to do about it? But we have a bad habit in our country of not caring about things. We have a case of Bobby Kennedy Jr.'s father, who was killed, and the coup de grace, not coup de grace, the coup de grace, behind his ear right here. They had stippling, close contact. Guy was right there, the assassin. And where was Sirhan? Across the room. Not only that, there were more rounds fired. Who happened to have a 22. Interesting enough, this Thane Eugene Caesar, who was the shady security officer, who they believe was the one who did it. The evidence is overwhelming. Reasonable doubt. But we don't react to that. People aren't going to want to hear this. I heard Dave Smith. Did you hear Dave Smith with that Brandon Tatum? Oh my God, that Tatum is so. He has a t-shirt that says Zionist. It's like, what does Zionism have to do with any of this? Why are you identifying yourself as that? They don't understand. They don't understand what's happening. This is critical. Somebody's got to speak up for Charlie. Somebody's got to speak up for him. This young man never had a chance. Every time I see him, you know what I think? I think I said this poor bastard didn't know what hit him. He didn't even know what hit him. They led him like a lamb to slaughter. They knew, and somebody must have known. Somebody must have known. We know exactly what's going on. We know exactly what's going on. We know, Charlie. That's right. You smile. You do your biblical verse. We're going to blow you away. We already got a plan. It was planned. This was a conspiracy because there were more than one person involved. Why? because there's no evidence of the rifle. Let me go back to this again. You can't go back to the rifle because there's no evidence of this. Now, let me ask you this. How would you, let's talk a little bit, and I loved what Candace was doing regarding the woman that we know, the woman who is called Erica Kirk. And I have done this before, but I think that she is one of the most fascinating people I have ever seen. There is nobody today as fascinating as she is. Nobody. There is not a liar like she is. None. There is no one. No one. No one. And when people talk about her, there's this desire on many people's positions to I guess come up with some kind of an explanation of what she is. Is she a pathological liar? Is she a psychopath? Is she a confabulist, a fabulist, a narcissist, borderline disorder? I mean, she is the most fat. I tell people this. Nobody, not Kim Kardashian, not Paris Hilton, not Madonna, not Nicki Minaj or Cardi B, or nobody is like her. She lives in a delusional state. She lives in a world. Remember the song Angie Baby by Helen Reddy? Angie Baby, living in a world of make-believe. She is the most fascinating thing I've ever seen. I have never seen anything like this. And people will love to say psychopath. She is not a psychopath. She is not a, that's kind of like that's a layperson's word for somebody who's like a liar. And that's not a psychopath. The psychopath is a little bit different, a little bit different. But what it is interestingly enough, it's the most fascinating story of anything I've ever seen. And what it is somebody, and I mean this. Charlie met somebody who might be one of the most pathologically, not insane the way most people use it. She's not hearing voices. But I mean, the word is, pardon my French, fucked up. I mean, royally, absolutely, positively, royally. How do I say this? It is unbelievable. Words do not explain what she is. The level of insanity that we are being exposed to is unprecedented. I think the people that we see on a regular basis, most of the time, think about this, when we were younger, we didn't really have friends of ours who were on these psych meds or who were on these various medications or who had been through all of these problems. We have more people walking around right now, more people who claim to be, I'm anxious, I have PTSD, I've never seen anything like this. We live in a world where insanity, or mental illness, I should say, is so commonplace. It means nothing to us. It means nothing. We're just used to it. And nobody understands this. But this woman is absolutely, positively unbelievable in terms of what she's done. And all they're able to do is say I think what they're trying to do is I think the memo went out, whatever you do, try to rehabilitate her, try to do everything in your power to make it sound like she's being mistreated because we need her. Now, why she's there, I have no idea. It's hard even to put this into consideration. But you have to ask yourself this very simple question. This is really kind of interesting. And the question is, there's right now this question that I think, and I'm going to ask you. It appears again and again in history and politics and entertainment, even ordinary life. Let me ask you, why do some people tell stories that seem untethered and disconnected from reality? Why do they insist on facts that can be contradicted by documents, timelines, YouTube, interviews, by their own previous statements, and sometimes, well, a lot of times, by common sense? First question to you, why do you think people do this? Have you ever had this? Have you ever had a spouse? Have you ever had a child? Have you ever had a neighbor? Have you ever been somewhere where you're living with somebody or been around somebody who has a complete and total disability in not being able to explain to you what the truth is? Does that make any sense to you at all? Where they just say whatever they want. And to make lies about things that don't even matter. Nobody's even concerned. It's the most incredible thing I've ever seen in my life. And it fascinates me. And Candace was talking about it tonight. The temptation, of course, is always to call people like this liars and leave it at that. But human behavior is never that simple. We're not talking. There are slews, countless forms of deception and self-deception. But the ordinary liar, and this is important, follow me now. The ordinary liar knows the truth and intentionally conceals it. This is the regular liar. He knows the truth, conceals it. The compulsive liar lies almost reflexively, often about things that don't even matter, trivial matters, not necessarily to gain advantage, but because fabrication and lying is habitual, it's usual. The pathological liar occupies an even stranger territory. Psychologists and psychiatrists have long debated whether pathological lying is a disorder in itself, or is it merely kind of something even deeper? And in some cases, the liar may begin to believe his or her fantasies. I think that's what we've got here. And fantasy slowly becomes memory, and imagination then becomes autobiography. Does this make any sense to you? Have you ever known anybody like this in the course of your life? If you have never seen this before, if this is something brand new to you, you've missed out on some of the greatest stuff. And I mean, I have seen the best. I know people now who they make up things. I don't think they know what reality is. They're not hearing voices. And I think it's almost like, believe it or not, it's like when you hear these stories of women who have been through a trauma, they're forced to relive or to create these worlds that don't really make sense. Now, there was this wonderful German, I mentioned this today, this German psychiatrist, Anton Delbruck. He coined the word pseudologia fantastica. Pseudologia, false words. Fantastica, false, fantastic, fantabulous words. This was this 19th century term, and it described people, kind of like Erica, who construct elaborate, dramatic, and oftentimes these incredibly grandiose stories about themselves. And then these stories are not necessarily completely false, but they're kind of woven from fragments, from moments, from a little bit of truth, mixed with exaggeration and wish fulfillment and invention. I mean, it's wild. And the teller, the person, becomes both the author and the audience. This is who she is. She tells stories. Did you hear the latest? Nisi did a great piece. Did you hear where she claims, this is Erica, she claims to have been trained by Charles Barkley, that when she was that she went to this YMCA or YWCA or whatever it was, this kids or boys and girls club, whatever the hell it was. And that she actually said this, and I heard this, her coach, her whatever, was Charles Barkley. And it must have been like 1993. She said she was like 5 years old or something at the time. And people are saying they know at the time that he was either coming from the Olympics or he was with the Phoenix Suns or whoever the hell it was. I don't know. It's not. I'm not an expert in Charles Barkley's lore, but he wasn't running a little basketball coaching position in Ohio, wherever the hell it was. I mean, it's bizarre. And normally what you do is, wait a minute, you're on the stage. Somebody's going to pick up the phone, somebody watching, who knows how to get a hold of Charles Barkley. Or calling that youth YMCA, which is there for 100 years. In fact, Nisi, I believe, had somebody on the phone, talked to them, and said, did you have Charles Barkley ever as a coach? He says, whoever answered said, I don't know. She said, it's kind of like when you go to a restaurant. Sometimes the restaurants have famous people who were there. Remember that? They have famous people. And when they're at these famous people, they'll leave a picture of something like a photo. Or do you think that maybe there would have been some kind of evidence of this somewhere? And they can't find it. So let me say this again. She could have said anybody. She didn't even have to say that. She didn't have to bring up Charles Barkley. But she did for reasons nobody can understand. Our good friend says, great stream, Lionel. Thank you, Dog's Nose. Our friend Lisa Ann says, I love your work, Lionel. Thank you so much for just being a voice in our space. I feel that we are a part of something greater than is to come. I believe there is an awakening going on. I agree with you. Dick Shorty Long, ladies and gentlemen, the Monty Rock III of our generation, says, growing up in music biz, I think I've been almost seen every kind of mental illness, sometimes in the crowd, but always in the band. I could see maybe a little bit about that. Maybe, and by the way, thank you, dear friends. There might be something, interestingly enough, that happens where people are, maybe in order to do something like this, maybe in order to be an entertainer, you got to be a little bit nutso, a little bit strange. Maybe, I don't know. But what makes this is what makes this case so intriguing. Sometimes the stories that people tell are heroic. I am a stolen valor fanatic. I watch this Don Shipley, Buds, whatever it is, Don Shipley. It's just, oh my God. This is a guy, retired Navy SEAL. And he has access to the database of every Navy SEAL from 1943, when they were called frogmen and underwater demolition, to, I think, under the Kennedy administration, they were called SEALs. Everybody's in, and it's not secret. It's not secret. So people will call up and say, Mr. Shipley, yeah, listen, my mother's dating a guy who I think is after her money. He claims to have been a Navy SEAL. Can you call him? Yes. And he records this. And he calls a buddy, and Don Shipley will call up and say, I don't know if you ever seen him. He goes, hey, shipmate. He goes, who's this? This is Don Shipley, bro. He goes, I understand you were a Navy SEAL. And he always looks at the camera like, yeah. Well, that's great. Yeah. What was your BUDS class? And he asked the same question. What was your BUDS class? Basic Underwater Demolition SEALs. What was your BUDS class? What was your BUDS class number? Everybody remembers it. You scream it out for 6 months. It's like not knowing the year you graduated from high school or what year you got married. Anyway. Well, what is it? 2483. No, too many numbers. 182. 182. All right, bro. And he puts his glasses and you can see he goes to this kid. He said, when was that? And that was January of 86. Nope. That was actually 56. You know, like, what? You got the wrong number, bro. He said, can you think of anybody's name? Anybody? Can you remember a name in your class? No. And they give these names. Anyway, they lie. And he catches them and they still continue it. It's the most incredible thing you've ever seen in your life. How did they do this? He says, I've got the list. I've got your DD-214. I know when you got out. You never were in the military. You were in the brig. No, I wasn't. That's wrong. I'm fascinated by this. And these stories that people give, sometimes they're historic. A person exaggerates on achievements or relationships or experiences, but sometimes they're tragic. See, the storyteller, like in Erica's case, she presents herself as the victim of extraordinary circumstances. And sometimes the stories seem almost kind of cinematic. And she's got some, you know what? If she told you her story, if she said, well, and this is the story, she says, well, I was trying out for a bunch of scenes, I was trying out for a bunch of different, I don't know what they're going to call them, stories or whatever you want to call them. I was out for some kind of reality TV show. I was stooping all kinds of men. What is that show, please? Sounds interesting. Oh, yes. Oh, I will tell you right now. It is... I interviewed him one time. I've watched the same ones over and over. This is let me give you the name of this. It is called This is the name of it. It's called Don Shipley, Shipley, former BUDS 131. I can give you the whole thing. It's at Don Shipley, former BUDS 131. So it's Don Shipley, former BUDS, BUDS, BUDS 131. Stolen valor. Unbelievable. You can't believe. Oh, and then they stop. Have you seen where they stop these people in the airport? And they stop these people, and they have real Navy SEALs, and they have real people, and they're wearing these uniforms where they're overweight and they got too many medals. I mean, it's just sad. That's Erica. If she told you the truth, it'd be terrific. If she told you what she did, she says, hell, I was in a training film for the CIA. My mother, Lori Franz, her sister, mother, we're like gypsies. I got some wild stuff. Did you know I ran listen to this. Did you know that I ran a real shady Romanian orphanage? Huh? You know what I mean? Did you know I kind of sort of know a little bit about that Epstein thing? Did you know about that? Did you know what I did? Oh, yeah. Did you know I was Miss Arizona, kind of, sort of, maybe? That's a good story. She really was. There she was. Why is she lying about this? How many of you were Miss Arizona, Junior, whatever the hell it is? I don't know. I despise pageants. I think they're the minstrel shows of our time. It just reiterates, it just makes women think like, I gotta be pretty. Women should hate them, but they love these things. She's got a story. She was a real estate person, I guess. She was but no. She tells these stories. How about the other day when she tells us one? She says, and I can't wait because when I take my family, we're gonna go and we're gonna go to TPU. I said, I'm gonna bring our kids. First, she says, they knew everybody. I used to bring them all the time to see their dad. I used to take them on the way to, yeah, ballet class. That's it. Yeah. I took him to ballet class. That's what I did. And sometimes we go by to see him at the office. Yeah, that's the ticket. Yeah, right. And they knew us and we knew them. And that's why, I mean, you don't think I just took over here, do you? I know everybody's name. Then in a separate call, she says, now listen, I want y'all to give me your name so we can learn who you are. Wait a minute. You just said, if my daughter ever said, I want to be in a pageant, I don't know what I would do. I say, what's the matter with you? Were you abused? Why do you want to prance around so you can show people, say, look at my ass. Look at my ass. Look at my ass. Look at me. Look. Huh? How about your talent? Talent. I play the skin flute or I don't know what the hell I'm doing. Look at my ass. You see my ass? I'm going to walk over. I'm going to bend over now. Can you see it? Vote me, Miss Indiana. Look at my ass. Some of this. Look at my ass. I would think, and there's nothing worse. Have you seen these older ones? These older ones, Mrs. America. Oh, dear God. I don't know what's worse. The little kids, which is disgusting. Every pervert, pederast, every paraphile sitting in the audience. Dear God. Thank you, Rosie. God bless you. Let me tell you something. These people are it's weird. It's the strangest thing. Look at my ass. You see it? I mean, you want me to drop something? Huh? I got pictures of it. Talent. I don't need talent. What was her talent? What was it? They're horrible. Hi, I miss it. And I told you one time it was an Irish bar. It was an Irish bar on 8th Avenue. And one Saturday I was there talking to the owner. And all of a sudden he looks and this woman comes up and she looks like she was hard. You know what I mean? Like she had a hard life. Hard. Just kind of made up, like too made up. She looked like a fallen woman. You know what I mean? Kind of like, wow, she's been through a lot. She looked like maybe like she was, with all due respect, she looked like she was like a bowling alley cocktail waitress or something. Like her name is Mitzi or something, or Midge or Madge or, you know, Sylvia. I mean, that's wrong. But she looked hard, like she'd been through a lot. So the bartender, your mom says, Jesus, would you take a look at that one? He goes, look at her. I said, I think she's a hooker. I said, I don't know, she's a hooker. So I think she's a hooker. I said, there's no hookers anymore. What? No, there's no. They don't like walk into bars. They go, oh, I think this is a family place. He goes, I know it's a family, but come on. You can't go up and tell her, are you a hooker? It's terrible. She stopped bothering him. He goes, all right, maybe you're right. Anyway, another one came in. Looked even worse than the first one. I swear it's a true story. And I said, I think you're onto something. He goes, what the hell is this? You know, people, they put on too much makeup, or they don't. Do you ever see women who they don't know how to wear high heels? It's like it's like this is new to them. They're not pulling it off. They look like really road hard, put up wet. Like 5 miles of bad road, just bad, like a mud fence. And then another one came in, but the other one had a name tag on it. I said, wait a minute. What's going on here? So he was about to I walked over and I said, excuse me, ladies, I was just curious. Are you part of are you, I didn't say, are you models? Are you part of a movie? She says, no, and they have all these audition spaces. No, but we're auditioning for this thing, America's Biggest Slut, or I don't know what the name of the movie was. But that's where we are. I said, oh, okay. So I told Desmond or whatever. I said, that's the story. He goes, okay. It was so sad. It was so sad. Oh my God. Oh my God. Hey, gents, listen to me. Psst. Hey, men only. Can you imagine if somebody said, listen, you want to audition for a spot? Yeah. Have you ever done that before? I hate that. I hate it. I was in House of Cards. I had to, it was awful. You have to audition, and it's terrible. I hated it. And I got it, but I hated it. Anyway, but if I say, hey, listen, you want to go do this? Hey, Dick, you want to go do this? Yeah, okay, good, okay. But listen, I'm gonna tell you something. They'll send you the sides, the lines and everything, but I want you to be real sexy. What? I want you to go and put on your best suit or your clothes and act sexy. You have to, be kind of like a Pierce Brosnan. What the hell are you talking about? I don't know how to do that. Men will say, I don't know what you're talking about. I can't do that. Women, please, will always say, I'm beautiful. I can do it. I can do it. The right makeup, the right this. Yeah, I can do it. It's the weirdest thing. Why? Because from the time you're born, you're constantly told you got to be formed, you got to be pretty. You got to be pretty. Daddy's little princess, okay, all right. And this Erica went absolutely, not insane, but just these stories. And she still doesn't get it. And we find out, according to Candace, going back to the original story, that all of Charlie's shirt, the evidence, the car, the fragments, all of it cleaned up, hidden. It just, I can't believe what I am seeing. It blows my mind. Do you understand what I'm saying? So for anybody who says out there, this Candace Owens, you're missing the point. This story has everything. Law and order, murder, mayhem, sex, insanity, politics. It's just, and these jadrules, have you, Tatum, oh my God. He's like super Zionist. Like, you're this interested in Israel? Come on, man. How much are they paying you? You really care? Your natural inclination is to care this much? And if they are paying you, so what? It's not against the law. I don't know if that makes you a foreign agent. I don't think so. It's unreal. My friends, this is where we are right now. This is where we are. And we are not going to let Charlie die in vain. We are not going to stop. We are not going to stop. It's just that simple. And if anybody doesn't like it, that's the way it goes. And the sooner you shit can her and shut down TPUSA, that will minimize any further exposure, because I guarantee you, well, let me rephrase it. Do you think these people could withstand some kind of a serious audit? This is, how much money? All of the money's for planes. And do you think that when donors gave that money, that they wanted to make sure that you were on some Gulf Stream, whatever it was? Dear God. So we will get to the point to this, my friend. And I am not going to stop. And I am unrepentant, and I don't give a damn if anybody likes it or not. Licky Light says, hi, Lionel. This case is most fascinating ever. Love you, L. Love you as well, dear heart. Love you, baby. I love great kind of crime stories where there's some gaping hole in the facts, something that's just like, what is this? Unbelievable. Von Anken, is this Olivia? Oh, bless your heart. Thank you so much. I love this. But the level that we're seeing right now, this is a part. See, I've always loved the thing I love about the criminal law part is that I always dealt so much with, believe it or not, I dealt with mental illness. I had a lot of times where we dealt with competency. And I had to know, is competency a very serious, and I had to look at all of everything, the aspects from psychopathy that people talk about, their version of psychopathy, to all this other kind of stuff. And it made me so aware of also when a mental illness disabuses them of the ability to actually handle the case, where they don't know right from wrong, where they're really not able to. And I've loved this idea. And the psychopath has always been my favorite, but they're the rarest. They're the rarest of the rare. They're less than 10% of the population. But the question is not merely, whether the stories that Erica is saying is true. The deeper question is, why is she telling them? Why does she have to tell them? One possibility of this, and this is something which I think is the most fascinating, because it's the motivation part, which I think is interesting. You got to ask yourself, what is your goal? And one of the things sometimes when people suffer from abuse in their life, when people themselves have found themselves trying to not escape, but create something maybe that, how do I say this, that was so horrible and so terrible that they figure, I can just change things. I'll just create a new life for me. That's it. I'll just create a new life for me, and I will do something that do you remember, and I want to, certain movies just have such an impact on me. But when I saw Being There, it was Jerzy Kosinski, and it was Peter Sellers. I think they said it was Peter Sellers' best movie ever. And it was just, I don't want to go through the specific, but if you've seen it, remember I like to watch Ben. And I love when people live lies. Some people live lies to an extent. I guarantee you, Joe Biden did not live a lie. That's what he was. He might have said when he was a little bit demented. I think he was still talking about Bo, but he might not have known. But for the most part, he didn't really make up stuff. He might have lied in terms of performances. But with Eric, it's different. You see, humans, as you know, are social. And we're social creatures. And stories are our currency. And if you've got some great story, some compelling narrative, look at these Stolen Valor guys. That generates sympathy and admiration and attention and love. And in the age of social media, attention. Attention itself is, well, it's a form of power. It's currency. And the temptation to embellish and to make up stories about one's life is greater than ever. Everyone is trying to curate and maintain an identity. But there's another possibility, and one perhaps that's even more unsettling. What if the storyteller, what if Erica is not deliberately deceiving others? What if she's deceiving herself? She's not lying to you. She wants this to be. I'm a beauty queen. I'm beautiful. I'm loved. I'm worth something. I'm not telling you that for you. I wouldn't believe it. I couldn't care less whether you believe it or not. It doesn't matter. I'm special. Memory is not a video camera. Neuroscientists and psychiatrists have repeatedly shown that memories are kind of reconstructed every time we recall them. Have you ever heard somebody in your family tell a story and you say, Ma, Dad, or that never happened? You keep telling this story and you just remember telling the story. Because people forget the details. They fill in the gaps. They unconsciously edit their past to fit what is their present understanding of themselves. It's not to lie to you. It's not to deceive you. It's to deceive them. And most people do this only slightly. It's incredible. Beat 3 months of hand farts I've ever had. Love you. Oh, best 3 months of that is you're a doll. I think, I hope. I can't read it. Meshelmabel. See, I am so bad at reading these things. I thank you, though. You're very kind. You're very, very kind. See, I would love to sit there and I want to talk to Erica so bad. I'd love to say, Erica, do you do this a lot? Was there an awkward childhood event, something that becomes maybe some formative trauma? Erica, when you were a kid, was there some casual acquaintance that became a lifelong friendship? Some vague recollection that became something extraordinary? Because you see, Erica, over time, repetition gives the story like heft, solidity. And you begin to remember the story rather than the event. And it's not your fault. And that's why psychologists distinguish between lying and confabulation. Now, this is a good one. Confabulation, this is a good one. Confabulation is when somebody like Erica creates false or distorted memories without any conscious intent to deceive. The stories may be wildly inaccurate, crazy, made up fantasies, but the person relates them sincerely and confidently. And they're not necessarily lying in the ordinary sense. They're narrating a reality, kind of that exists inside their own mind. You see, there are also personality traits that many people, have to contribute to the behavior. For example, is she a narcissist? Could be. You know that, what is her name? The Indian woman who always talks about narcissism. Jesus, every day, narcissism. Oh, we're narcissism. Okay. But narcissistic personalities often create kind of idealized versions of themselves. And they kind of emphasize accomplishments and connections or hardships that reinforce this kind of a self-image. And then you got these other people, these histrionic personalities that dramatize events. And they seek emotional intensity. Borderline, you never want to meet a borderline personality. Borderline may experience even the worst. Psychopathy later on. I don't want to get too much into this. I don't think it really applies to her. But I would want to say, I would like to do something. I would love, have you ever seen psychodrama? Psychodrama is one of the most fascinating things ever. There's Glacier Girl. Thank you, Glacier Girl. What a delight. Thank you. Psychodrama is where you have the person sit, and sometimes you're behind them talking. You can either talk to somebody else, or you can talk to a mirror, or you can just talk through them. And then sometimes people can do it, multiple people, or just you. But I would love to be like next to her and to say through her, you don't know who I am. I don't know who I am. I don't know. I don't know what I am. I get lost. Attention for me is the drug. It's this thing, attention. When I walked out, I've never felt like that in my life. They always talked about Charlie. It was always Charlie. And after Charlie died, I walked out and they were there for me. People looked at me and they loved me. They admired me. I've never been admired in my life. I've never known what this is like. I've never understood this. And you're not going to take this away from me. You are not going to take this away. But Erica, you make some stories up. So what? I'm not a bad person. I mean, for Charles Barkley? My friends, we will continue. Let me thank you from the bottom of my heart for you being with us and a part of this. I mean this sincerely. I thank you so much. You are so great. Later on, poor Mrs. L, bless her heart, she's been in Washington. Took her to the train this morning about 4:30. She'll be in about 11:30. She's been going all day in D.C., meeting with parents, meeting with all these senators, Josh Hawley and Klobuchar and this one and that. I mean, she went to the White House. I mean, you cannot believe what she does. You can't believe it. I mean it. I love her. And that's why I always ask her, please follow Mrs. L at Lynn's Warriors. Wait till you hear her stories. You can't believe it. She just, she goes into the executive office, but right next to the White House, boom. And me, I'm like, which is fine. That's okay. I'm the proud husband. But please follow her at Lynn's Warriors. Please, please, please. Because she continues, no matter who's president, no matter who's no matter who's running the show, it's for kids. So please do that. That means a lot. Also, thank you so much for watching and being a part of this. Thanks for your gifts and your super chats. Please like this video. It really is important to like this. Also, please make sure you hit that little bell so you're notified of live streams and new videos. And also make sure you remain, this is important, that you remain subscribed, because for reasons I don't know, people are disconnecting. It's the strangest thing ever. It's bizarre. It's like they have to reconnect. So please check and thank you. And you were the best. Don't forget Thursday night, 7:30, right here. It's going to be exciting. The one and only Ms. Candace. I love you, my friends. Have a great and glorious night. Thank you so much for spending time with me. And don't forget, the monkey's dead. The show's over. Sue ya. Da-da.